Hello and welcome back to the Highway Blues. Now, where we last left off in this game, Bentley was sending us off to go complete different tasks that were important here and there for, the heist, the reason why we're here. And, we're just sort of getting all the chess pieces into play. And we're still post-commentating. I'm thinking that, I tried doing another live recording with the commentary, and as I did it, I just felt like I prefer this method of commentary just because it guarantees that I will always be coherent. And I prefer coherency to complete incoherency, and also to non-talking. So I think I'll save the live commentaries from now on for when I do, collaborative videos. On those occasions. But for right now, I think I'm happier with it being the post-commentary mode. Because it's easier for me to edit, for one thing, and it also means that I can really focus on talking about things I want to talk about. For instance, I really want to discuss the state of my life right now, which is definitely, I would say, a state of flux. So, over the course of the past few months, I've completely graduated from college and am now in the process of trying to find sort of professional work, which is to say, I get that there are people who view YouTube as a profession, and in a sense I do too, but I view it more as a profession through the lens of I take the work that I do on these videos very seriously and I treat them like a job. But I also need to eventually concede to the fact that in our modern age, no matter what your views are on the subject, money is pretty important to helping accomplish a lot of things. And, you could argue that's the whole bread and butter of this franchise is, one's quest for, or a noble quest to sort of garner money in sort of less than noble means. That there's probably some profound statement I can make through that, but Lord knows that I lack the skills necessary to provide that. So it's one of those things where I've been trying to find work, as for a job, and entering into the job interview realm is a different kind of beast for me because, it's not that I haven't done jobs before or I haven't even interviewed for jobs before. That hasn't really been the case, but in the previous outings for me, when I have had jobs and when I have had paying jobs, they weren't necessarily like the big, you create the resume and you send it out there and you sort of shop around your own abilities. They were more along the lines of, so-and-so that is connected to this so-and-so is looking for someone who can do this, and if you are sort of a jack of all trades like I am, which is to say that I can do, I'm a writer, but I also can do technical work as sound engineer or as a video editor or as a radio broadcaster, all these things. If you have that sort of full hand card deck that you can really pull off and make your own, then that really, I think, puts you ahead in the marketplace. And that was sort of where I was at for the longest amount of time, which is that I would have these jobs, but they really came about because I just had the right connections and the capabilities to really do those jobs to the best of my ability. I think that's something that people kind of take for granted in the discussion of how easy it is to get a job, that a lot of the times people who are getting those jobs because they have a connection in the industry. They have someone they know, or they have a friend who knows someone who does this and it gets them that job. That definitely plays a role in it, in the job market game and how the society sort of operates. And I think people sort of take for granted the role nepotism plays when they discuss, like, oh, why do people have trouble finding jobs? Why is unemployment at this rate or whatever? And they either ignore or they neglect that nepotism does definitely play a role within some people getting jobs, as well as other factors like economics and demographics and all this other such and such and such. But I digress. What's been fascinating for me is sort of trying to build a way of selling myself, and which is something I never consciously tried to do, because I'm not a marketer, and I've never really been much for marketing anyway. I'm not big into the whole salesmanship of humans, and yet that seems to be what I have to do in order to put myself within the job market in any way that's going to be effective. And that's been basically what I've been doing in between the cracks. If I'm not working on the show, I've just been trying my darndest to get myself a good job. And it's really just been crazy hectic like that. There was a joke I made in the live commentary, which is why I was just staring at the television for the longest amount of time, and I deleted the live commentary track, so I'm not gonna do another take of that, because I'm still doing this one take only. If I do multiple takes of commentary in post commentary, then that feels fake. So I should talk about this game as well. So we're seeing here a mechanic that I'm kind of surprised didn't play a larger role in the first game, which is that of being a pickpocket. Because, building your game around the concept of thieving, you would think pickpocketing would play a grander role earlier in the franchise, but no, we had to wait till Sly 2 for it to really play a major part. And you're seeing here that I'm having tremendous difficulty picking this guy's pockets, because playing on the controller I'm playing with, I don't really have massive control over the subtlety of Sly's speed and movements. So I'm trying my best to keep my distance as well as I can, but it is having great difficulty doing so. And this is actually going to become a major mechanic later on in the game, and you'll see even in this episode that the pickpocketing is pretty much how you unlock major power-ups and abilities. There is now a level-up mechanic system to the characters, I guess would be the case. Now you have the ability to start buying power-ups and special abilities, and the best way to do that is using Bentley's internet connections and, pushing forward ahead of that, and you sort of will be able to pickpocket sort of gold watches or combs or pearls or jewels or whatever from these people, and then that will get you extra loot if you don't get damaged, and it's all a big thing. It's another dimension added to the game. That's the big thing with Sly 2. It's about adding new dimensions, stripping away some of the more linear, generic qualities from Sly 1 and replacing them with more unique, fleshed out concepts in Sly 2. So I don't know how that works. Also, the BS of Sly going, oh, Bentley, these fans are too fast for me to move on, and then he doesn't even touch the fans when he gets to the chandelier. So I don't know. Who builds a machine gun in their club banquet hall? I mean, it's whatever. Dimitri's underworld. He's got a kind of Scarface complex going on with him, though he definitely doesn't have any of the cool of Al Pacino, even in one of his more overacting performances. So we're pretty much, we're going to do one more mission. I'm realizing that actually in Act 4 there's a bit more, or in Act 3 I should say, it takes a little bit longer to get through the Act 3s than the Act 1s or the Act 2s. So you'll see here I'm trying to pickpocket this guy, because his pocket has that sort of glowing gold about it, which means that he has some rare treasure if you can pickpocket him successfully. Yep, there we go, we got a gold comb. So now if we take him out and we don't get damaged on the way back to the safe house as we change characters to do a Murray mission, If we can not get hit, then we will be able to hold on to that gold comb all the way to the safe house, and then we can sell it for money, and that will help net us some profit and reward. So, and we already kind of know this from the Bug Dimitri's office level, but now it's just playing a smaller role here. And those are normally how you get loot. There are rare treasures you can find scattered throughout levels here and there, but more commonly than not, what you're going to be doing to kind of grind your character up in a sort of level up way is searching around. And when you're walking through the environments, looking to see if a guard has some rare treasure on them, and then you can pickpocket them and make it back to the hideout and garner more money that way. Because, as I've said earlier in this episode, it's all about the money, boys. It's all about making that bank. So now here we are playing as Murray and somehow flying next to a car. I don't know how this is the show that always seems to be... Like, I keep finding glitches in this show, and I don't know how that keeps happening, and yet there it is, and it's quite amazing how simple it is. I'm not actively looking for bugs and glitches in games, and yet they always seem to show up when I least suspect them. They're like the Spanish Inquisition that way.
Okay, Murray. That alarm horn will tip off Dimitri during our heist.
Why are you talking to Murray like he's a child? You're like speaking directly to him.
This is going to take some serious muscle, Murray. You're the only guy on the team who can pull this off.
What garnered Murray's change to being the brawn from being the idiot before? Because, like, he was kind of a coward in Sly 1. I'm not kind of a coward, he was a coward. We literally had to do, like, turret missions where we were, like, spotting him, because every enemy that would show up, he would run in the other direction and hide his head. So... it's like sort of what changed within Murray the character that now they view him as the muscle as opposed to when he was just the panicky, comic relief character. Because that's pretty much what he was doing in Sly 1. Alright, we're going to try to not get the warthog to notice us. It's one thing to take out rats and frogs, but warthogs? Oh, I ain't facing up against no Pumbaa. Whoa. Okay, I guess the game's brighter now, and I guess it went back to dark. Must be a cable must have gotten loose there for a second. The fascinating bit about these videos, you notice that the Sly franchise videos, and to a degree, the old Ratchet and Clank videos have been presented in 60 FPS. I try to display these games pretty much in the ratio or frame rate that they are meant to be seen in, because I have that ability with video editing to do that. But the thing is that I don't know if people have noticed this, but the thing with the PlayStation 3 is that, and this doesn't seem to be a thing that happened on the PS4, but for some reason with the PlayStation 3 there was a system wherein if you were trying to route video through an HDMI cable, because the PlayStation 3 had HDMI capabilities. If you were trying to route video through there, it put on like a copy protection mode where like you couldn't say, I have like two different capture cards, one for older consoles and one for the newer ones, and if no matter which one of these I would use, if I was to say plug in the HDMI into the PlayStation 3, it just was not happening. I think it might have had something to do with the Blu-ray functionality and people not wanting to allow you to easily copy off of Blu-rays, which is a whole topic in and of itself. But if the videos have ever looked smeared to you because of that, with these Sly videos or the Ratchet and Clank videos, that's why, because they're running off of component 720 HD as opposed to HDMI 1080. And I don't know why that is. It just seems to be that's how you would have to record a PlayStation 3 to get it to work properly. But Anyway, I think this is pretty much a good place to stop it here. We'll do the second half of Act 3 and probably the finishing heist next week. So, thank you all so much for watching the show. If you like what you've seen, be sure to hit the subscribe button and ding the bell to be notified about when new videos come out. Smash the like button, share the video with your friends. On the screen you'll see more episodes of The Gaming Weekend and more of Nick's Serenade of Caffeine videos. And we'll see you all next week. Bye bye.